It's That Nerd Ryan here, and today we're going to be talking about the Bad Batch, the last two episodes, mainly the finale, so let's go ahead and talk to it. So episode 14, basically what it is them infiltrating Mount Tantus. Echo is in the base. Omega is finally figured a full way out and gotten a plan together. And the rest of the team is wandering in the forest. And Wrecker gets seriously injured. So that's episode 14. We also find out that Emery is going to help Echo. So, episode 15. The finale of the entire show. The Cavalry has arrived. So, obviously spoilers. This is the moment that we've been building towards all season. Ever really since the end of season 2. And it gets emotional. There are some things that I think kind of bothered me with it, but also there's things that were pretty amazing. I really don't like saying that the thing that bothered me, because it's something that I complained about before in a video of something that was like a season finale or series finale or something. But yeah, so anyways, basically the obvious happens. They break out. Omega unleashes the Xylo Beast. Hemlock is killed. So is Rampart. So is Tanway with all of her research. She does that herself. We get a clone prison break. And yeah. We also get Hemlock's agents, which I thought were being built up to be something else. And it was never stated, and they all died anyway, so it didn't really matter. But everybody survived. We then, after the happy ending, and seeing the team sit there, kind of like the end of Return of the Jedi, we jump to, I think, probably 14 years ahead, because I have a feeling that Bad Batch took about 5 years. I don't know if it's before or after the destruction of the first Death Star, but Omega is joining up. We get to see an old Hunter, and her and Hunter have a conversation about her joining the rebellion, and that this is her fight. They fought enough, it's her turn. And I loved that ending. I loved the, not passing of the torch, because Omega was trained her whole life, but her being you can rest now, let me take this fight. And it's just great to know that she was out there during the Galactic Civil War, and probably during the Rise of the First Order too, when all the other clones are long gone. But yeah, so let's talk about the things that I didn't like about the finale, then we'll talk about the season as a whole, give the entire season a ranking. And also to say what the series is, in my opinion, because we're all done. So, the things that I didn't really like. One of them is that we did not lose anybody. For something where we don't see anybody in this show continue on afterwards, it's really shocking that we didn't see any of the main members perish during this fight. Wrecker got seriously injured. I thought we were going to lose Wrecker. There was a moment where you think you could lose Hunter and Crosshairs at the same time, which also with that did lead to good tension moments, but we didn't lose anybody. And I know that just sounds sadistic and terrible, but the fact that there was no true full sacrifice to get Omega back kind of lightens it a little bit, especially with Hemlock being built to be this terrible, terrible villain and everything, and they do that. Which, with that, we get introduced to a whole slew of his special agents, it's not just the sniper guy. There's also different members of they're basically, for lack of a better term, clones of the Bad Batch, where they're like these freak shows that have to fight the Bad Batch. I thought that they were trying to build this up to be Scar Squadron or something like that, but they all die. They don't get established that well, besides, oh, he looks cool. They're literally, not even kidding, literally the Knights of Ren. They get introduced to look cool, and then they kind of get thrown away right after that. And that was my biggest disappointment, was like thinking, okay, maybe these are Scar Squadron, and it's going to introduce Scar Squadron right now, or something like that. We did also lose Scorch, which, I mean, makes sense. Hunter and Crosshair killed him. I was thinking Wrecker would, just like as a nod to the fans, but that's fine. But yeah, this season as a whole was very strong. It had a very cohesive story, and just it got from A to B to C to T to E to F, so on and so forth. It lined up perfectly. It didn't feel like there's any disjointedness. Everything was done with a purpose. So honestly, season 3 is probably the best, if not tied for the best, with season 1 for this show. Altogether, I do think season 2 was the weakest due to that lack of direction. I think it's painful to think that ever since episode 1, season 1, we have not been able to see the team completely together, and we never got to. I think that's heartbreaking. Story-wise, I think that's fine, but just thinking about it, it's heartbreaking. We never get to see Crosshair and Tech reconcile, which, again, great, but heartbreaking. I also think a very, very great part is when Hemlock dies. Omega runs up to Hunter and Crosshair and goes to Crosshair first for a hug. That actually made me tear up and cry. A few times in this finale made me tear up and cry. But yeah, the characters were greatly developed and everything through the whole series. Even with season 2 being the weaker season, we still got great development, especially for Crosshair. But yeah, so altogether, looking at animated shows, excluding the Tales series, I think Bad Batch goes right under Clone Wars for me, but right before Rebels. I'm going to give season 3 a 9 out of 10, and the entirety of the series a 7 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. It's That Nerd Ryan,